afternoon, Madam Secretary. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madam Secretary, we worked together on what we may talk about next year as a very successful tax credit, the PRM tax credit, resulting to direct jobs. But I think it's a bit premature to talk about that direct link between the PRM tax credit and job creation, because I think we're still a few months away. But I would like to talk about another film tax, or another tax credit that does have a direct link to job creation, and that being the film tax credit. I was just curious if your office has looked at the relationship between the film tax credit and job creation.
Not directly, no. I could probably look to see if we can get some statistics on that for you. I will say, in connection with that, with Representative Delosier, we worked on modernizing the child labor laws, particularly for the film industry, so that we would have easier to read child labor laws for the film industry than either New York or California did, to sort of couple with that film credit and encourage the film industry to come into Pennsylvania. But to your direct question, I don't have that information.
Okay, because that's probably a separate issue. I wasn't headed down that path. I wanted to look at specifically job creation, because I think that's a good indicator for success or not of an industry tax credit. Is it creating jobs? And if we increase it, is it going to see a spike in job creation? If we decrease it, are we going to lose jobs? In my opinion, I just think that's a good indicator of whether a tax credit is being successful, one that is specifically tailored towards an industry. I guess my follow-up question or request would be, if we looked at whether or not, if there was an increase in that film tax credit, would there be a spike in job creation? Because my concern is, on the surface, it looks like the film tax credit is being hugely successful, because we see blockbuster movies coming into Western Pennsylvania, which seems like every month. But is that relating to job creation? I'm optimistic that it is, but I would like some specifics as to whether or not that is the case.
I can look to see if we can pull those labor statistics, specifically the last year that has occurred.
And my final point would be, these huge blockbuster movies are coming in, and we're successful in that regard. But are the mom and pop or the mid-level or the small companies losing out because these big, huge blockbuster movies are gobbling up the film tax credit? And if we would increase, is there a way that we could help the mid-level companies that are based here full-time? So
I'll have to talk to Secretary Muser with respect to that. I don't know that there's any indication that the middle and smaller companies are losing out. It's just not something I've looked into. Absolutely,
and I don't want to get you off topic. My request was specifically towards the job creation, and would an increase result in higher job creation numbers? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.